Hello, my name is Goji248 and I'm going to try and complete this in 15 minutes. Now, I'm going to show you a design of a Synchron deck, which is supposedly synchronized quite quickly from what my friends tell me. So I'll get started and leave you to give me your thoughts at the end. Alright, first off we've got two Turbo Synchron used for basically switching attack monsters to defense mode, making it easy targets then to destroy. Good enough for also special summoning low level monsters like level 1s and level 2s, and it also works quite well for Formula Synchron. We've then got Tuning Wear, two of those as well run in this deck. Combine them with Turbo Synchron, you get a Synchro and another draw, and two draws thanks to Tuning Wear's effect when it's used as Synchro material. It can also count as level 2, so it's quite useful for Junk Warrior as well if you wanted to, as long as the effect's not negated. Finally, in the level 1s, we've got Levelator, good card to continually spawn the field, so once it's in the graveyard, as long as you've got a monster of level 5 or higher, you can just keep bringing it back. Quite a good card, and it's once again another way to bring out Formula Synchron. Okay, next, for level 2s, one of my favourites, Evil Hero Infernal Prodigy. Its effect is to special summon if you control new monsters, so it's an easy way to synchro at level 5, 7, or anything else. Next, alongside it, we've got Fortress Warrior, a good card to hold off for 2 attacks if need be. Once again, it's one of the little cards for. It's just a card that to just hold off for if need be, and it cancels more synchro material. It's just there too because it's being there. Possibly we'll change it out later on. Anyway, 2 Cruel Belt Hedgehog, revive from the graveyard, but they are removed from play if they use that effect to revive themselves. Once again, this also helps for level 2 synchro summoning, maybe Junk Warrior. Good combo if all goes well. So it makes a 3200 attack points Road Warrior. Preferably that's one of my better combos for a level 5 warrior. Next up, one of the Heart and Soul cards of the Synchron deck, of course, Junk Synchron. Bring back all the level 2s and 1s you've seen. Makes good for any situation, and it can pretty much counts into my Let's Go Nova Synchro. Okay. Dandelion, everybody knows what this does. Sacrifice it to get 2 Dandelion tokens when you send it to the graveyard. So it's a good card for quick draw. Good card if it's a good card to hold off. You have to hold up 3 monsters, so if it gets destroyed, you get 2 more tokens. So that's 3 attacks they've got to deliver. A good card to cover up for like Fortress Warrior. Next up, for the only 2 level 4s in my actual deck, though I'm planning to get a third one, got Junk Servant. These are the only 2 I could get in the box I bought. Good card to work in combination with Junk Synchron. Basically, it can only be these can summon themselves to the field if you control a Junk monster. So, if I say normal summon Junk Synchron, special summon Levelator back from the graveyard, I'll special summon this to the field, and that's an instant level 8. So it works as a good combo. Same thing if you wanted to bring out level 2. That's an instant way to get Trishula. So I would say that's a pretty good combo for a synchro summoning with just those 3 monsters themselves. Anyway, I move on. Next up, 3 Quick Draw Synchron. So basically, these run about 9 of my synchros. Basically, it's just a good way to discard and add more cards to the graveyard for Junk Synchron and itself. Bring back Cruel Belt Hedgehogs, have Levelator in hand, make a level 8 Road Warrior instantly, sort of thing. Quite a good way to get started. Silent Swordsman level 5. Basically, because this deck is weak because of its effect to special summon so heavily, I've put in tribute monsters to make up the difference. Because he's unaffected by spell cards, he's a good card to have overall due to that effect. I might think about changing him up, but I would probably keep him just because he can't be affected by spells. That's more the reason why, and he's a single tribute. Next up, we have Salvage Warrior. Salvage Warrior, when it's tribute summoned, allows me to bring back a tuner. So basically, I've got Formula, Turbo, Junk Synchron, and Quick Draw Synchron. So depending on the cards in my field, I can then make up whatever I need to require. So he's a good card to instantly make a level 8 at most. Pretty good card for me. Finally, a level 7, Malicious Edge, requires 1 sacrifice if your opponent controls a monster. It's a good way to get this card on the field, and he's once again another tribute. So cards like that, Dinosaur that destroys all special summons, he'll get past it quite quickly. So that's my cover card. So that's all my monsters. So next up we'll move on to my spells and trap cards. Just give me a second. Just trying to get all the cards sort of sorted out themselves. Alright. Anyway, so we go 2 tuning. That's what I would probably think would be the best amount of cards in this deck. Some people would say otherwise. I think this is more about enough to cover us for the synchro summoning, because I tend to draw them quite quickly than having to use more and all these all the time. Reinforcement of the Army adds Junk Synchron, Junk Servant, and Fortress Warrior, a good card for drawing specific warrior types. Monster Reborn, good tournament-based cards. Drag a monster from their graveyard, drag a card from my graveyard. Basically just build my defense and makes more synchro material for me. This card brings back my Junk Synchron, my Junk Servant, good card for Warrior Returning Alive. Basically I could use this in combination with Red Demon Dragon in the field as long as I have Turbo Synchron in my graveyard. So that's my Red Scar Nova little combo running again. Once again, I think everybody knows what 1-for-1 does, so that just gets like my Level Eater if I need it, my Turbo Synchron, my Tuning Weight. It all depends what I require at the time. So it sort of gives me those little advantages. I've always come at times where I've found that all my synchros are in the graveyard, my tuners are in the graveyard, and I'm like, damn it. So this card was a definite card to put in the deck, because with only 8 actual 8 tuners in this deck, it's quite good to restock it. Maybe send 3 junk, 2 junk, 2 quick, and 1 turbo, and that sort of settles it out. Good card for the drawer. Everybody's familiar with the MST. Destroy one spawn trap card, so that's a set. That's just in there for that reason. Got Battle Tune. This is a card I'll be changing out along with this card here, which is Creature Swap. I'll go back into that in a second. Use Turbo. Remove Turbo Synchrons if you have to remove a tuner for this effect, and raise, say, Silent Swordsman level 5 by 1300s, and it's a permanent effect, so it's quite good for an attack beatdown. Creature Swap, basically swapping a specific monster. As long as they've got 1 monster I want, I'll swap it out, but I've got to make sure that monster is the only one there. Otherwise, if they've got 2, they'll just send the other one if they don't want it. Now, I'm going to be swapping out both these 2 for possibly Forbidden Lance, because it'd be better on me than to have monsters that can be destroyed quickly. So, say I special summon to the field Stardust Dragon, they flip up Bottomless Trap Hole, I play Forbidden Lance on top of it, targeting Stardust, dropping him by 800 attack, but he's unaffected by spells and trackers, meaning that Bottomless Trap Hole won't work. So the monster's not really play. It may be losing 800, but it's only to the end turn. So it's a one little cards to get round that are a pain in the ass. So it's like, screw you. Alright. Excuse me. Right. Next up, Starlight Road. Get my Stardust, drops Mass Destruction. This one, Torrential Tribute, causes Mass Destruction. Work 2 in combo sometimes if I need it. As long as I have 2 monsters, of course, which is a bit of a lame move. But yeah, that's my little combo to try and get Shooting Star if I need it. Blackthorn Heaven, ×2. Sort of special summoning, since special summoning is a large set of cards, since special summoning is a large common thing nowadays in dueling. Use that to sort of take down cards like Stardust, Trishula, pretty much any nasty special summon synchro. Next up, Fiendish Chain, negating effect monsters like Scrap Dragon, Bryanak. Won't work very well against Stardust. I mean, true, Stardust will sacrifice itself, but its effect won't work. But it still doesn't stop it, because once it sacrifices itself, there's no real point of having that on the field. So it's more to work on other cards outside Stardust, unless it's a priority effect. Unless it's proper reason to do it. And finally, I run to Graceful Revival. That brings back my low-level monsters for more synchro summoning. It's just those there are just to bring out more material to basically bolster my monsters. Right. Well, that's all the monsters. Don't have a side deck yet. Maybe I'll get into that in the future. All right. Next up, 2 Formless Synchron. Basically my drawers. That's why I have Turbo Synchron, Level Eater, and Tuning Wear. Tuning Wear basically makes this card a double drawer because of Tuning Wear's effect when it's using synchro material. So basically, instead of having 1 from him, I get 2 basically in that sort of sense. And that's also for my Shooting Star Dragon, so that's why they're there. And they can also make my Red Scar Nova if I have both of them out and Red Demon. So it's a nice combo. Next up, 2 Junk Warrior. Basically, my easy summoning. But I'm trying to find a way to put more monsters out when I make this combo to make him stronger. That way I can, instead of having him at 30, 100, he might be like 39 or something. I'm also planning, though it's probably a possibility of never using it, if Quasar does come out in dueling, like it is in Japan currently, this would be the combo to use, but I hardly get all three out in one ever, so using it might literally be never in that deck, so I might never put them in. Next up, level 6s. We got Junk Gardener, Turbo Warrior. Junk Gardener is a good stopper, stopping high level monsters from attacking, so Red Demon Dragon, or put a monster that they've got in defense before Red Demon Dragon attacks, and that will usually destroy one of their monsters. And we've got Turbo Warrior to halve the attack power of a Synchron monster when it attacks it, so 6 or higher, so they're both good. Don't tend to use Turbo more than Guard, because I favour Guard's ability more than Turbo's. Next up, my level 7s, we've got Junk Archer, Junk Berserker, and Nitro Warrior. Junk Archer is good for handling monsters, mostly with tokens, because if a monster's got like 3 tokens on top, remove the monster with 3 tokens from play, and he loses all 3 tokens, and he doesn't get them back when he comes back to the field. So that's a good move. Plus, it's a good way to instantly direct attack as long as they've got 1 monster in the field. Next up, Junk Berserker, an attack lower. Since I got like 3, 2, 3, 5, about 7, maybe 8 junks in this deck. In extra deck count included, I can lower a lot of monsters with his effects, and I can pretty much put one to 0 attack and just to basically deliver a direct battle damage. He's a good attack lower. Finally, we've got Nitro Warrior, good attack increaser and a double attacker because of its effects. So if I play a spell card, it raises it by 1,000 attack for its next attack. So if I play a quick play spell and normal spell then a quick play spell, it sort of then gives them an extra 1,000 attack for each attack if I time it right. Because they'll attack a monster in attack mode, destroy it, and if there's a monster in defense, that will go to attack, and he goes in again. So yeah, that's the level 7s. Finally, for 8s, we've got Stardust, Junk Destroyer, Road Warrior, and Red Demon's Dragon. So we got Red Demon to basically destroy every single defense monster they've got. Junk Destroyer to mostly blow anything off the field that is required. Mostly I tend to choose spells or traps. Road Warrior is basically my Synchro Summoner. He gets me loads of materials like Turbo Synchron, Tuning Wear. As long as if I can meet the requirements, he'll go in it. Stardust Dragon, he sort of works with Road Warrior, so he makes me quickly make Shooting Star over Stardust, but I tend to favour Stardust over Shooting, unless I have to do something to save him. Finally, level 10, Shooting Star Dragon, of course, but definitely put in this deck just in case, you know. It's always one of the little silent thingies. And of course, Red Scar Nova. Now, I've had the chance where I've actually had Red Scar, Shooting Star, and Road Warrior on the field within a few turns, and you pretty much can guarantee almost a set victory almost, but I can't really say that for sure. But having 3 of these on the field, you kind of have an issue. Anyway, on to the next part. Before I finish off this video, because it's about 3 minutes to go, I'm just going to show this quick combo of what this deck can actually do if the cards are all played correctly. Alright, this was a first turn hand, so you can probably just kick my ass for that, but this is how it went. So, I special summoned to the field my Evil Hero Infernal Prodigy. Next, I sent the Level Eater to the graveyard to special summon Quick Draw and Defense, so that's 2 monsters already. I then summon Junk Synchron, get Level Eater back, so that's now 4 monsters, and I special summoned Junk Servant. Now let's make this quick. So I Synchro, Quick Draw, Level Eater, and Infernal Prodigy. That makes my 8. So that instantly gets me Road Warrior. I then use Level Eater's effect, lowering Road Warrior to level 7. So I've got now 4 monsters back on the field. So I Synchro these 3, 4, 1, and 3 to make an 8. So that makes now my Stardust Dragon. I use Level Eaters again to make a Road Warrior a level 6. Then I use his ability to use Road Warrior's ability to get out Turbo Synchron. So I Synchro for 2. That then gets me Formula Synchron. So already I've got 3 Synchrons, and I get to draw a card. And I still had a card in my hand. And the card I had in my hand was Fiendish Chain. So in all sense of a purpose, you can Synchro something 4 times in 1 turn, and you still have 2 cards in hand if that was your first turn. Anyway, sorry for this little speed thing. It was trying to do it in 15 minutes, and I've sort of done it, so I hope I didn't speak too fast. This is Gogeta408 signing off, and good day.